Hello everybody, my name is Isabella and welcome to my channel Between the Pages. Today I'm filming like 3 to 5 videos or parts of a video. So if I'm wearing this dress and drinking a sherbet swirl Alani, they were probably all filmed on the same day because I really slacked off and have been kind of busy this week and haven't really had the time, or I did have the time and I was so exhausted that I went to bed early. So yeah, sherbet swirl Alani. It's very good. Might be my favorite. Haven't tried that many though. Fair warning. My official favorite, I haven't tried in like 2 years, so it might not even be my favorite anymore. But yeah, I like it because I love sherbet. I love the taste. The taste of sherbet, orange and lime sherbet have like memories, childhood memories attached. So I think that's why I love it so much. When I was little, my papa used to keep like the orange sherbet, like push pops, and the lime. I think it's lime. Pretty sure it is sherbet. Like frog spit ice cream pop things, and yeah, that's just the taste of sherbet in my mind correlates to those memories, and it's very lovely. I love my papa. But anyways, so if I'm wearing the same outfit and drinking the same drink, it's probably been filmed on the same day. And this is the first video of all of them that I'm filming today to be uploaded. So fair warning about that. So yeah, today I'm reviewing The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. This copy is 186 pages, about 15 chapters. I will say my box set, they're all the same size, about the same number of pages. So I really think, pretty sure, like 90% sure, probably more than that, that they changed the font size because to match, or so they could fit all of the make all the books about the same size, because the font in this one is a little bit smaller than the font in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So me saying how many pages and chapters there are isn't really saying much. Um, but yeah, it's a pretty short book. I'll get into that in my official review because I feel like it fits there better. I'm gonna read the summary. I feel like this isn't too much of a spoiler because there are very few people that don't read the summary. I feel like I definitely do. I always read the summary before I read any book. I hate spoilers, but I will read the summary. I feel like the only times I haven't read the summary of a book was when like a friend of mine like gave me a book to borrow because I trust them. They know what I like to read. We all kind of read the same ish type of books. That is to say, I think we all just read all genres. um, I think we probably like different genres better, but we all kind of read the same genre. So when a friend of mine tells me, "Hey, read this book," sometimes I might not read the summary or I might just skim over it. But I'm gonna read the summary because, in my opinion, it's not a spoiler. Now, if somebody in my comments eventually says, "Hey, I don't want to hear about it," I'll start putting the timestamps of where you can skip over it. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna do it yet because I have like 3 viewers so far, and that's just family that I told to go subscribe to me. So, yeah, the summary of The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. The secret passage to the house next door leads to a fascinating adventure. Narnia, a land where the woods are thick and cold, where talking beasts come to life, an entirely new world where adventure begins. One cold, wet summer in London, Diggory and Polly meet and become fast friends. Their lives take a sudden turn when Diggory's Uncle Andrew, who fancies himself a magician, sends him hurling to somewhere else. They arrive in Narnia, just as it is born from the song of the great lion Aslan. Along the way, they encounter the evil sorceress, Jadis, whose dark magic threatens everything. After a whirlwind adventure, they finally find their way back home. So, that is a lot. It is I don't know, good summary. Whoever writes summaries for books, they're doing a good job most of the time. Not all the time. I've seen some books where I've read the summary and then still read the book, and I was like, they could have written such a better summary to make people want to read the book. Like, the only reason, like, I read it because it was popular, but if it was just for the summary, this book would not get popular. But that was a pretty good summary. So as far as between the plot, so the things within them that people might have a problem with, there is some cursing, which I was very surprised by because in these are books made for children. Like in one of the first editions of the Chronicles of Narnia, it says like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, a story for children, or something along those lines. Um, but at one point, Polly, who is a little child, calls Diggory the A word that also means mule or donkey, or your bottom. We use it as a curse word today that means bottom, or that you're being stubborn like a mule. Um, but in my opinion, just maybe my views of C.S. Lewis are just so high that I couldn't dream of him cussing in a book. Um, because I do believe that just because you wrote the word does not mean you didn't like cuss. But I feel like he used it, like Polly used it more as calling Diggory like a mule. He was being stubborn in the moment. But that did kind of catch me off guard. Not that it's right, but I'm just saying, like in the 1950s, they might not have seen it as much of a curse word and more you're being stubborn. So today I feel like it's a lot more like it's more of a curse word now than it was when the books were written. So there's that. Another thing is Uncle Andrew, which a little like interjection. This is not a spoiler, but Uncle Andrew is not exactly a good guy. You learn that very quick, like in the first chapter or two. He's kind of odd, and throughout the book, you learn that he's not the most upstanding citizen. I'll put it that way. So he does say like DEM, which is an alternate spelling for the D word, the four letter curse word. And I did ask ChatGPT, but I kind of gathered this just from reading the book that it was a way to show his character and him not being like the most like, you know, nicest person to show that he cursed and did things like that, but without spelling out the whole word. And I think ChatGPT told me, once again, did not fact check, but I think ChatGPT said that a lot of older authors did do that. They used DEM so they didn't have to spell out the whole word, and it was kind of seen as better. So there is that. But if you have like a really young kid, they might reading it, they might not even catch that it's um an alternative. So those two things kind of surprised me about the book because I didn't remember there being any cussing at all. Um, but yeah, do with that what you will. Another thing, Uncle Andrew also drinks, which once again, was kind of more of a show of character of kind of showing how he was through actions. Uh, C.S. Lewis in the book wrote it in such a way that like kind of seemed like he discouraged drinking, or at least in the sense that Uncle Andrew was drinking. Um, I think context clues from reading The Magician's Nephew and also The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I think at that time, like you've heard old people say, put whiskey on babies' teeth while they're teething. I feel like C.S. Lewis, when it came to alcohol, he only encouraged it for medicinal purposes. I don't know that for a fact. These were children's books. So if C.S. Lewis drank every day, I have no clue. It's just that from these books, um, at least for children, he didn't encourage just drinking for pleasure, but he did. There are some scenes in either this one or The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe where there is drinking, but it's for medicinal purposes. Um, I'm not saying that I encourage that or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, from C.S. Lewis's point of view, he discouraged kind of drinking for pleasure, but also had his some of his characters drink it for medicinal purposes. I don't understand it. I didn't know him personally, obviously, so that's just from context clues. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Even in the book, when he's drinking, he calls it a nasty grown up drink. So yeah. Uh, Now the name of the book is The Magician's Nephew. So even from just reading the title, obviously there's magic, there's magicians, there's witches, there are different worlds, mythical creatures. like nymphs and fawns and all that stuff. I personally don't have a problem with it. It's kind of hard explaining. Like, I have a problem personally with Harry Potter, but I don't have a problem with the Chronicles of Narnia. And as far as I know, I don't with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I haven't really read them. Um, but I know people that have. And like C.S. Lewis was a Christian, and the books are kind of a he took inspiration from the Bible. There are, if you know the Bible, if you read the Bible, if you're a Christian, as you read these books, you will see the parallel between the Bible and some of the stories in this book. Um, I'm not going to go into it on this video because I don't want that many spoilers, and different people have different views on what's a spoiler and what's not. I do go into it in the plot summary though, so if you don't mind spoilers at all, watch that, and I'll go into it a little bit more. But there is magic, but it's more of it's good in that way. Like, the evil magic is from the evil people, and the good magic are from the good people. Um, I don't know. And when you read a book or a story, you can tell, you can feel the difference in them, and that's why, in my opinion, the Chronicles of Narnia, they are better than some other books or stories that I may have a problem with. Um, so there is magic. If you are absolutely against magic, don't read them. But the Chronicles of Narnia was written by a Christian, and he did gain a lot of inspiration from the Bible, stories in the Bible, when writing these. It's a good parallel for children. My little theory is that C.S. Lewis wrote the Chronicles of Narnia, paralleling a lot of the Bible stories with it, so that children can still hear Bible stories without thinking, "Oh, it's the Bible, it's boring," you know. Which I never thought that, but I'm sure there are some kids that did think Bible stories are boring. So, anyways, the last thing is, it does mention like gods and goddesses, but it's not in the like mythical, like Greek mythology, all of the different mythologies, types of like gods and goddesses. Like, there's multiple gods. It's like little g gods and goddesses, and it was talking more of like of the water, of the trees, like mythical creatures more. Like, it didn't make me like, I didn't have like a I didn't feel convicted about it, I guess. There's probably a better word for that. But reading it, I understood it wasn't saying that there's any gods above God is or beside him. Like, they're different. They're not actually gods, but they're more in like mythical creatures of water and of trees, like spirits of water, spirits of trees. That also sounds really bad, but like I said, context is everything, and it's more just the mythical creatures of it, not that there is more than one god, if that makes any sense. So that is mentioned, but in the context, you can tell it's little g, and there's, they're not above the true, one god. Um, so yeah, my overall, that from what I remember, that is everything in the books that anyone may possibly have a problem with. Um, so yeah, my overall review. First of all, my star rating, I would go 4.75 or 5 star. Now, just so y'all know, the star rating, there is no true rating system for books, like true good tell all rating system for books, because my 4.5 star for a book, I could rate a book 4.5 stars for one reason. Somebody else rate it 4.5 for another reason. Like, you can have 100 people rate a book the same way for different reasons, and that they choose the way that they rate differently. I've recently realized that I rate every book I read very high. Like, I very rarely give a book a 3 point, like in the 3 point range. I have given every book like in the 4 point range. So I'm getting better about that, because I know that every book I read is not that good. I guess, feel bad giving books bad ratings. I really don't know. So this one, oh, another thing is, when I rate series, I put all the books in a series get the same rating. So, and that's because I view a series as one big book, kind of. Unless there's like with the Hunger Games, for example, the main trilogy, the Hunger Games, Catching Fire and the Mockingjay, they're all the same star rating. And then the first prequel is a different one, and then the second prequel is also a different star rating, because in my mind the trilogy is separate from the prequels, because that's the main trilogy. But with the Chronicles of Narnia, they're all one series, so they all have the same star rating. I might do a little short, like a short or a video. I think I've said this in one of my plot summaries. But ranking all of the books, because I do like some of them more than others. It's just that they're all part of a same series, so and I don't want to think about it that deeply, so I just give them all the same rating. So, that being said, I gave this a 5-star rating because the rest of the series is a 5-star read for me. I already know that because I've read them before. They are my top 3 books slash series that I've read, so that is why they are a 5-star read for me. Okay, I don't know how well this is gonna fit in like the flow of my talking, but this is little while later because I was in the middle of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and um, I forgot that I forgot a part of the review that I forgot to write down, so that's why I forgot it. So, anyways, I did go over this in the plot summary, but I might just cut it out and go over it in and just leave it in this video alone. But this book took me 4 days to read. I easily could have read it quicker, I feel like. But I do go through days, and this week has very much been one of those weeks where I just haven't prioritized reading as much as I could have. First of all, like during work, I do have some moments where I get to read, and sometimes I do sit on my phone because sometimes those moments are very short, and I would much rather just pick up my phone and wait until I have a long period of time to read rather than only get to read for like 2 minutes. Um, so yeah, and then my afternoons, which depending on the day are a little bit slower, were busier than normal. Like Sunday, I went out to eat with my boyfriend and his brother and his mom for Mother's Day, and so I was gone like longer than normal on Sundays. And then Monday I was also gone. I did read actually a good bit that day. I would say between 25 and 50% of the book I read that one day, and then Tuesday was also kind of busy. I didn't read that much, and then I finished it on a Wednesday. Which then again on Wednesday I had like 2 or 3 chapters to read, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So yeah, it did take me 4 days to read. Not That's not a test of like how good the book is or like how small or big it is. It's just I was busy and didn't get to read a whole lot each day. That's why it took me 4 days to read it. But yeah, so back to my normal, regular, my train of thought before this interjection. So yeah, these are very appropriate for kids. In this one specifically, um, obviously there's the slight cursing, which might not be appropriate for some children. um, but if you are a parent and you are reading it to your young children, um, I think it's very you can just skip over that word, or you can go through the books and mark out the curse words like they do at libraries in school. But these books are very appropriate for kids. If your kid can read at the level to understand it, like these books are written in an older fashion. So, like, I wouldn't say a 5-year-old could read it and understand it. But if your kid can understand, like if they can read and understand the Bible, they can read the language in the Chronicles of Narnia. And if you are worried about them reading the curse words, just go through and mark it out. If you're a parent. But other than that, I think they're very good books. I read them when I was very young, and I enjoyed them so much that I have like boasted about them all these years since then, and I've only read them the once. Um, yeah, it's also kind of fast paced, which that's because they're very short books and a lot does happen. And I personally don't mind fast paced books. These books were so good that I kind of wish they just kept on going and C.S. Lewis wrote more in them, and I wish they were thicker just so I could read more about the world. Um, so yeah, I mean my copy's 186 pages. There's only so slow that you can go and still have content to read. But yeah, I probably should have said this before I said all that. I'm not gonna give a very like an age um appropriation, except for like books that are very like you need to be a teenager before you read them, or you need to be an adult before you read them. But for the Chronicles of Narnia, I really feel like I was really young when I read them, but I also could read kind of at a higher level um than average. Not trying to boast about myself. I'm just saying I could read them and understand them at a young age, whereas some kids may not be at that level at the age that I was, if that makes sense. So I really don't know an appropriate age for these stories. I mean, I feel like kids of all ages, if your kid is not old enough to understand it, then a parent can read with them and explain the things that they have questions about, or read it and then shorten it, make it a more modern Englishy version. um, so I guess I would say of all ages, you can. I mean, everyone can experience this story as long as you know, they find a way to listen or to read it in a way that they understand. As far as the language, it was written in the 1950s. There was a little bit, different. There was a some difference in how we speak now versus then. But yeah, I feel like this last part was all over the place. I'm very sorry. Um I feel like I can't get my thoughts together. um so yeah, I believe that's all that I wanted to say. I really enjoyed this book. Um Definitely going to reread it as well as the whole series again. Now that I've reread them, that I'm older, they're just so comforting. Like the writing is so poetic in that old fashioned classics way. And it's just such a comforting read, if that makes sense. Like it kind of puts you in the world of Narnia. Like C.S. Lewis takes the time to explain the world around the characters. He doesn't just talk about the plot, he talks about what it looks like, what the setting is, and in just a very poetic and charming way. So I will definitely reread these again. Um just for that. I mean, obviously I'll read them for the plot, but just for his writing style, I'll definitely read them, and it makes me very excited to read more of his books. Because unfortunately, at this point in my life, I have not read anything other than the Chronicles of Narnia. Because I just haven't gotten around to buying them, and I'm the type of person that wants to buy the books that I read. I don't like borrowing them, especially if it's a book that I really love or an author I really love. I would much rather have the collection of my favorite author's books. But anyways, that's about it. Very excited for all of y'all who decide to read it, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.